Lords and ladies, the faith and the crown are the two pillars that hold up this world. One collapses, so does the other. The Father judges us all. If you break his laws, you will be punished.
Hi guys, so you would have just seen the Game of Thrones reference to the crown and the faith, and if one falls, so will the other. And I posted the video yesterday regarding the crown, the church, and the coin. And today at the O2 Arena, there's going to be a massive attack at the O2 Arena. I don't know if that's a subliminal dual message meaning and it's right in your face, but we've talked about the potential for an explosion at the O2 Arena or even at the Ravensbourne University, considering the iPad Go-To video references a classroom and ravens and a dome-like structure, and the explosion coming from outside the dome rather than inside of it. So it all looks like it's around the area. And you guys know that when you look at the map, as I pointed out before, the whole geographical location of the O2 Arena is situated next to the River Thames. When you zoom out of the River Thames, it snakes through the centre of London, and this would be the area of the womb on the snake. Not too far from there is the London Stadium, the other stadium I'm looking at, and there they're going to be having West Ham versus Fulham. Nothing really special in the names, but as I pointed out before, West Ham, their old stadium was used for a film shot of a football stadium explosion, and I think that may be significant. Their new stadium is the London Stadium. That's where they're based. So that geographical location is also situated next to a river that comes down the side of it, but also kind of curves round and links up. If you look even bigger here, you can see the way it goes around and up. So it kind of represents a sperm, and that's just geographical imagery. Just looking at it that way, both the womb of the snake and the sperm look like locations where there could possibly be events taking place. And obviously, as I've said today, they're going to have this show called the Massive Attack, which starts at 9 o'clock, and the West Ham versus Fulham match will start at 7:45, making half time for a 90-minute match 8:30, which again I've talked about in reference to the apple. Seems there's an 8 in the middle of it and 3 seeds and 1 pocket where there should be a seed but there isn't. So 3-0, 8-3-0, 8:30. The apple splits in half time. The apple looks like rolls across the ground like a ball or a football and knocks against Obama's foot. So double reference to football. So football halftime 8:30, and then you've got, you know, the potential for it being at the London Stadium rather than the Superdome, as those, you know, the Super Bowls pass. But obviously they could still be potential targets. Atlanta, New Orleans, Superdome stadiums. Keep an eye on those as well, just in case it's a, you know, a twin system thing. One event over here with 2 explosions at a stadium, and one event over there with 2 explosions at a stadium. Meanwhile, the Pope is having his child abuse summit, so you've got a lot of leaders of the church, well, all the leaders of the church, kind of in one location. Stromboli and Mount Etna erupting, potential for tsunami, which could cause a mega tsunami, which would have enough power to reach and wipe out the Vatican. I think there is a Time magazine cover, I'm just thinking in my memory, of the Vatican underwater. I'm not sure, maybe it was just someone else's art. But I was looking at the potential for an explosion in the UK. This is where the O2 Arena is, and this is kind of like the radius of the nuclear blast. On the outer edge is more pressure wave. The inner is the fireball. So though the fireball is quite small, the total effect of a nuclear blast would cover quite a big distance. Now, this is under a 10 kiloton explosion. This is a nuclear terrorism device. This is the standard that they give it. So I'm thinking if it's going to be blamed on terrorism, and terrorism is usually associated with Muslim countries, unfortunately, and we know that they have one particular Muslim country in mind if they would like to go after them. Well, two, I'd say. Iran, major one, and Pakistan. Now, obviously, if something like this were to happen today, and the volcanoes were to kind of explode tomorrow, you have Iran in the process of conducting a massive military drill in the Strait of Hormuz. So, opportune time to block it, especially if an attack has taken place in the UK the day before and people are pointing the finger at Iran. US coalition, Israel, other forces, they may decide to engage with Iran. And we see that Iran has its new submarine, which can launch underwater missiles and stuff like that. So I'm sure that will be used because that seems to be depicted in the IPEC Go 2 video as well. And with that being said, with Putin threatening to target the US, if Washington puts missiles in Europe, it links in because if the UK is attacked, it's likely that Washington will approve missiles being deployed to Europe, which would then cause Russia to point missiles at the United States. And not just missiles, their newly deployed submarine, Poseidon, would be, in the waters or ordered to target the United States. I don't know if anything like this is going to happen, but you've got to admit that a lot of the things that we've talked about over the last 2 years, with the volcanoes exploding, the tsunamis, the new revelations about Stromboli, the year of the pig, all of these different things are converging together. And if an explosion was to take place today, for example, Prince William is in Sandringham, so he's well outside of London, and Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, I'm sure by 8:30 in the evening, will be making their way to Morocco, so they'll be in the air. As I said, if that happens there, and Meghan, I know some of you don't believe she's a woman, I'm not even getting into that, but I'm just going with the theory that if they say that she's given birth, whether that's a real birth or not, while she's on the plane, that would be like a baby being born in the sky. And you know what that signifies? The baby would then come down to earth in the plane, but symbolically born in the sky, then come down to earth, and mixed up in all the 666 symbolism, it just gives you that whole Antichrist imagery. So if that were to happen while the volcanoes and the tsunamis are happening, then you've got birth pains, waters breaking, men's hearts failing them for fear, nations turning against nations. It all links into the Bible as well. So, and that's because they've taken all these references from the Bible and manipulated them. I think that's everything I wanted to cover. I'm keeping an eye out today. Obviously, massive attack, UK, 8:30. I'm looking around that time, or even 8:45. Guys, have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.
The Father judges us all. If you break his laws, you will be punished.